appeared in the hunt on that little graphic they showed on
No.
the Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
3-8?
Yeah, in the hunt.
Well, since that 4-8 would put them there right there. So they'd be 2 games behind in the AFC North.
After the Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Baltimore Ravens last night, we had the opportunity to discuss something I didn't anticipate discussing. Additionally, I am aware that many people were surprised that we would be discussing the playoffs. Playoffs, huh? Avoid discussing the playoffs. Unbelievably, the Baltimore Ravens' loss to the Cincinnati Bengals last night created a significant opportunity for Shedeur as well as the Cleveland Browns.
Your boy looked good. Came back and won. Yeah.
I think Baltimore is in trouble. I do. They have to play Cincinnati in 2 more weeks. Again, in Cincinnati. So that's a double play game. Cincinnati can make great strides there. Pittsburgh seems to be, leaking oil too. And the thing is,
Who does Pittsburgh play this week?
They got a tough game.
They got a tough game against the
Buffalo, is it?
Yeah, it's the Bills.
Ooh. In Buffalo?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
Wow.
Therefore, if we look at the AFC North playoff scenario, the Cleveland Browns are currently 3 games behind first place. The Pittsburgh Steelers are ranked first as well. However, let's examine the schedule now. This week, they will play the Buffalo Bills. The game will be challenging. They were given a matchup with Baltimore. That's another challenging game. They should prevail in the Miami Dolphins game. That will be another difficult game. Detroit Lions, another difficult game in Cleveland, is scheduled on December 28th against the Cleveland Browns and then the Baltimore Ravens once more. That is, in my opinion, the most difficult schedule in the AFC North. Therefore, it's not a given that they will place first, especially given the manner they've been appearing. Let's now examine Baltimore's remaining schedule. As we previously stated, Baltimore has Pittsburgh once more. They won Cincinnati. New England was theirs. On December 28th, they received Green Bay. The game in Lambeau is going to be quite difficult. They then acquired the Pittsburgh Steelers once more. I so retract it. That, in my opinion, is the most difficult schedule in the AFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals game against the Ravens at Buffalo comes next. Of course, the Miami Dolphins, a match they ought to win. The Arizona Cardinals should win this game, but you never know. They then face the Cleveland Browns in the season finale on January 4th. If everything goes as I believe it might, based on scheduling, that will be a game. The Cleveland Browns are revitalized, and the AFC North are kind of eating each other apart. That defense appears to be revitalized. Last week they had 10 sacks. They had the same appearance as when that defense defeated the Green Bay Packers at the start of the season. I think that's how they appear. And regarding the Cincinnati Bengals, I'd like to say something. Do you remember when the Steelers' Mike Tomlin publicly questioned Barry about sending Joe Flacco to a division rival after Flacco was dealt to the Bengals?
Andrew Barry must be a lot smarter than me or us.
He is therefore unquestionably smarter than you. I made that statement at the time because I could see the wider picture.
Because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
When the Bengals acquired him, knowing what you know about Zach and how he likes to run his offense, from Cincinnati's perspective, it makes sense for them.
It certainly made sense from Cincinnati's perspective.
He was trading Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals in order to ensure that the game would be difficult for you and that the Cincinnati Bengals would have a quarterback capable of defeating the Steelers and you if the AFC North defeated each other as they typically do. And in his debut game, Joe Flacco did precisely that. He walked out there and took control of him.
Flacco, lofts one. Chase makes this catch.
He took the exact action and Mike Tomlin feared. Therefore, if the Cleveland Browns offense can get itself together a little bit, which I believe they can with Shedeur, and because the San Francisco 49ers are scheduled to play this week, I think they should win that game.
Field coming up. It's going to be an absolute madhouse there as Shedeur Sanders makes his homecoming in Cleveland. First time playing a regular season game in front of those home fans. Give me a preview of this game. What do you see from this matchup? What do you like? What do you dislike?
Well, I mean, this could be a weather game that the anti-dome people would say is a home field advantage for the Browns because of that. The other factors involved San Francisco's coming here after a Monday night game, so it's been a short practice week. It's a holiday week, which is always a pain in the neck to travel on. I know as a media guy, I'm thankful we're home this week. And also, the game is 1 o'clock, which is kind of unusual for a visiting West Coast team. That means it's 10 a.m., their body clock time. It kind of throws the Niners off a little bit. So those are advantages the Browns have. And also, we'll bring it up here, the Jim Schwartz versus Kyle Shanahan advantage. Shanahan and Schwartz have been meeting either as a coordinators or head coaches for about 10 or 12 years now. And in those meetings, Schwartz's teams have won 8 and lost 1 against Shanahan's teams. And this involves like 6 different teams between the two of them. So that's another thing in favor of the Browns. But listen, the 49ers, this is an important game for them. They're 8-4, and they're sitting 7th right now in the NFC playoff field. They're 3rd in their division. And this is even though it's an AFC game for them, it's kind of a must-win to stay in the playoff hunt for them. So they got plenty of incentives to be all business as they come into Cleveland. The conditions in Vegas were perfect, right? It was indoors. It was a man cave. It was a weaker team. And he was able to fling the ball a couple times for big plays. He's got to keep the mistakes to a minimum. Ball handling, ball security in a day like this is going to be a challenge for him, being the first time he's doing it here in Cleveland. Just handing off can be a challenge to a quarterback on a day that we're expecting bad weather. So all of that, he's got to get his mindset conditioned to whatever the coach wants. You got to do. There's less opportunity to I think to wing it, to scramble. Right. And can he stay in the game plan? And what he did great last week was avoid those gigantic sacks, those drive-killing, 12-yard sacks and longer. Now, San Francisco comes in here with the fewest sacks in the NFL, the fewest quarterback pressures and knockdowns.
They could defeat the San Francisco 49ers if the defense keeps up their current level of performance and Shedeur steps it up. I think they should win the game that is coming up this week. The Tennessee Titans are not aiming for victory this year. Chicago should win this game. And the Browns' most difficult game on the schedule will likely be that one. You're referring to a game that will take place at Soldier Field on December 14th in chilly conditions, but once again, it could go any way. Another game they could win in Cleveland is against Buffalo. Another game they could win in Cleveland is against the Steelers. They will then play the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati on January 4th, as I mentioned before. That might determine whether or not the Cleveland Browns advance to the postseason. That could determine whether or not some AFC North teams are able to punch that ticket to the postseason. Therefore, it's not impossible. Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns will compete in the postseason. What could be a better situation? What could be a better football scenario? What could be more ideal for the NFL? What could be more ideal for the fans? However, they are my opinions. We will proceed and observe how it develops. Please make an effort to continue leaving remarks in the comments section. Let's attempt to continue the discussion. And additionally, if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button once for me. And chaos and peace as usual. Hello.